Pauley Perrette is best known as the goth-attired forensic scientist Abby Shudo on NCIS. Despite being one of TV's most popular stars for well over a decade, there's much that fans may not know about this multi-talented, multifaceted performer. Keep watching to discover the untold truth of Pauley Perrette. The popularity of everything from consumer products to entertainers is measured by Q scores. Compiling its data from consumer surveys, the company is considered to be, quote, the recognized industry standard when it comes to measuring how consumers respond to various celebrities. According to Entertainment Weekly, when the company released its January-February 2010 Performer Q study, Pauley Perrette wound up with an enviable score of 43 points. In the years since, Perrette continued to be a Q-score champion. According to The Wrap, by 2018, her score had risen to 44. Impressive considering that the average score for a female television star was just 21. The next highest score for a television actress at that time was Empire's Taraji P. Henson, with 36 points. Certainly higher than average, but a full 8 points behind Perrette. Perrette's high Q score no doubt had something to do with NCIS being the world's most watched TV series for 8 consecutive years. The irony, however, was that the 2018 Q score was released after she'd announced she was quitting the show, and just days before her final episode aired. Before breaking through on NCIS, Pauley Perrette was a struggling young actress living in New York City who made some extra cash by appearing in music videos. She explained in an interview with Parade, "When I was in New York bartending, I was in a billion music videos. I was in Madonna, George Michael, Salt-N-Pepa, it goes on and on." As Perrette recalled, a 12-hour shoot for a music video would earn her an extra $50. One music video that Perrette didn't mention to Parade was Metallica's video for The Unnamed Feeling, something that she acknowledged in a 2017 tweet. And yes, that's me in the Metallica The Unnamed Feeling video, as the Panic Attack Girl, pretty fitting. During Pauley Perrette's pre-fame years in New York City, she was also busy pursuing her musical ambitions. She told Parade in 2012, "I was into music before I was an actor. I was in an all-girl punk rock band that was amazing." Throughout her acting career, Perrette has continued to showcase her talents as a singer and songwriter. At the time, she told Parade about her current musical project, Stop Making Friends. In fact, one of her Stop Making Friends songs, Somebody Saved You, made it onto the NCIS Benchmark soundtrack album. Discussing another of her songs, Attention Please, she continued, "I collaborate with a lot of people. I have a new single out with DMC from Run DMC." In 2015, Perrette appeared on Entertainment Tonight to debut another single, Beautiful Child, featuring her NCIS co-star Michael Weatherly on piano. She said of him, "He's a very talented musician. He actually plays piano on every song that I've ever written." Along with music, animals are another of Pauley Perrette's passions. She revealed in an interview with the Wall Street Journal in 2013, "I'm so obsessed with animals." At the time, Perrette had just been awarded the Greater Los Angeles Zoo Association's Tom Mankiewicz Leadership Award, described as, quote, "an honor given to a philanthropic entertainer who has held a leadership role in local or global wildlife conservation." As a longtime animal lover and pet owner, Perrette may also have discovered the secret to feline and canine longevity. As she joked to People, her Corgi Dachshund Chihuahua mix was, quote, "probably about 237 years old," while 2 of her cats made it to ages 20 and 24. She continued, "I'll tell you the secret, it's because I talk to them all the time. I really think it's talking to them all the time and giving them that kind of love. They want to stay." Pauley Perrette expanded into the culinary arena in 2011 when she and pals Darren Greenblatt and Matthew Sandusky opened their own bakery in New York City. She told CNBC, "Me and my 2 best friends took my mother's recipes and all of her inspiration and opened a Southern country bake shop in Manhattan called Donna Bell's Bake Shop." That was her name, Donna Bell. As Perrette explained, the Hell's Kitchen bakery used the recipes that Perrette's mother, who passed away from breast cancer in 2002, taught her while growing up in the South. She said of the venture, "We're so proud of it, and just to pay homage to my mother is fantastic." The bakery thrived for nearly a decade until it became one of many businesses to shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to W42st.nyc, the business was hit hard, given that tourism in Manhattan had dried up and most of the office workers who'd made up much of the bakery's clientele were working from home. On Christmas Day of 2020, a sad message appeared on the bakery's Facebook page, announcing, "We are closing this weekend for good." In a 2015 appearance on The Queen Latifah Show, Pauley Perrette made an admission that many of her fans likely found shocking. "So I'm blonde and I've been dyeing my hair black for over a decade." In an interview with Extra, Perrette said that what she didn't realize was that over time she developed an acquired allergy to the hair dye she'd been using. In 2014, this resulted in her being hospitalized after suffering an extreme reaction when half her face became swollen and puffy, something she documented in a photo she posted on Twitter.
"It's an acquired allergy that you get if you've been dyeing your hair black for a really long time."
Speaking with KCAL9, Perrette warned others who dye their hair to be aware of the potential hazards they likely didn't even know about. "The most important thing to me is that anyone out there that dyes their hair, particularly black, you need to be aware of the symptoms." On NCIS, Abby Sciuto is distinguished by her goth wardrobe and the spiderweb tattoo that adorns her neck. However, in an interview with Extra, she confirmed that the web is fake. According to Perrette, producers of NCIS, quote, "wanted tattoos that were visible no matter what I was wearing." In a video detailing her transformation into Abby by the NCIS hair and makeup team, Perrette described how much she resents the process. "I have to prepare myself for the dreaded putting on of the neck tattoo. I hate the tattoo." Perrette also joked about her character's propensity for tats in an interview with TV Guide. "It's the only job I've ever had where my bosses are excited when I get new tattoos." Pauley Perrette and musician Coyote Shivers married in 2000 and divorced in 2004. As Fox News reported, Perrette was granted a restraining order against her ex, and for years continued to accuse him of harassing her. She described the situation as akin to being, quote, "in the middle of a horror movie I didn't audition for." Nearly a decade after their divorce, Radar Online reported that Shivers was arrested for violating the order and sentenced to 90 days in jail. As TMZ pointed out, Shivers was on probation at the time, following his arrest the previous year for violating that same order. According to Shivers, however, it was Perrette who'd been stalking him. In a lawsuit he filed in 2014, he accused her of a, quote, "decade-long campaign of harassment intended to financially, physically, and emotionally ruin him." The lawsuit was dismissed. As Page 6 pointed out, in 2008, Shivers had been designated a vexatious litigant in the state of California, a term for those who abuse the legal system with multiple meritless lawsuits aimed at harassing or subduing a singular target. Pauley Perrette appeared alongside legendary shock rocker Alice Cooper in a 2015 episode of The Late Late Show. Host James Corden told his guests that they share a big similarity in that they both have, quote, "quite extreme phobias." After joking about the possibility that she was terrified of ovens, Perrette revealed her actual phobias, the oddest of them being magicians. When asked by Corden if she was scared of magicians, Perrette elaborated.
"It's all about deception, it's all about foolery, it's all about something, and I can feel them coming from like a mile away."
When Corden pointed out that her fear of magicians was kind of an odd phobia to have, Perrette told him to ask Cooper to reveal his biggest phobia. He revealed that he hates balloon animals, leading Corden to pull out a balloon. Perrette ultimately didn't feel an obligation to defend her phobia. She said,
"Here's the thing I say about phobias is by definition, they are they're irrational fears.
Yeah.
So therefore, we don't have to rationalize them to you."
In 2015, Pauley Perrette made headlines when she was violently attacked by an unhoused man in Los Angeles. She shared her experience on Twitter, explaining that she was walking across a street when the man grabbed her. She described the incident. "He pinned my arm, punched me in the nose, forehead, repeatedly telling me he was going to kill me. I was alone, terrified, and trapped." As the Los Angeles Daily News reported, a suspect was subsequently arrested, with Perrette able to positively identify him in court. Writing about the incident for Time, Perrette pointed out, quote, "the obvious irony of me being an outspoken advocate for the homeless." She also revealed that despite the trauma and PTSD she was still experiencing, she'd come to forgive her attacker. She said, "Of course I forgive him. I have no anger, only sadness. He is very confused, he's homeless, and he needs help." Fans of NCIS were devastated when, in 2017, Pauley Perrette announced she was leaving the show. She didn't go into details, but shortly before her final episode aired, she took to Twitter to tell fans to ignore the tabloid's bogus speculations. In a follow-up tweet, she alluded to not telling the truth over fear for the jobs of the NCIS crew. She then tweeted about, quote, "a machine keeping me silent." The plot thickened in 2019 when she tweeted, "No, I am not coming back, ever. Please stop asking. I am terrified of Harmon and him attacking me. I have nightmares about it. I have a new show that is safe and happy. You'll love it." Subsequently, TMZ reported that the whole thing stemmed from a 2016 incident in which NCIS star Mark Harmon brought his dog to the set. When the dog bit a member of the crew, Perrette complained to the powers that be and demanded that the dog no longer be allowed on the set. As a result, Harmon's dog was reportedly confined to his trailer when it wasn't on a leash. Perrette alleged that Harmon, quote, "body-checked her the following year, something she perceived as a form of, quote, payback." After her departure from NCIS in 2017, CBS wanted to get back into the Pauley Perrette business. In 2019, Deadline reported on the network's announcement that she'd be starring in a new sitcom titled Broke. The show made its debut in the spring of 2020, with Perrette starring as a single mom who's forced to open her home to her snobby sister and her formerly wealthy husband when they lose their fortune. As Perrette explained to TV Insider, when she left NCIS, she wasn't planning on jumping back into another series. She joked, "I retired for a while, and I watched a lot of TV with my dogs, and I was really good at it." Admitting how, quote, "no one believed that she'd actually retired," Perrette told CBS Philly that it was her intention, until the offer came through and she instantly fell in love with Broke's showrunners. The fact that Broke was a comedy was also a bonus. She said, "Making people laugh is like one of the most rewarding things you can possibly do." Broke was ultimately canceled after its first season. As of the making of this video, Perrette is retired. If she never ends up returning to the screen, it's not like she can't afford it. After more than a decade starring on one of TV's all-time most popular shows, she's managed to sock away a few bucks, 22 million of them according to Celebrity Net Worth. In fact, that same website estimated that Perrette earned $200,000 per episode on NCIS. Given that a network TV drama will typically produce 22 episodes per season, that would have given her an annual salary of $4.4 million during her last few years on the show. That's in line with a 2012 TV Guide feature on television's highest-paid actors, which reported her salary then as $175,000 per episode. Perrette hasn't been keeping all that money to herself either. During the 2020 Christmas season, according to Fox 11 Los Angeles, Perrette gave out cash gifts to several families who faced dire financial situations due to the pandemic, with each receiving $3,000 of her own money. She said of her acts of charity, "Philanthropy and giving is more contagious than a virus." Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favorite stars are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.